Hello, hello. It's Talien here with this week's speed paint. All right. Yeah, I guess let's just get right into things. What have we got today? Oh boy. Okay. A lot going on in this one. But I guess that's normal for these, right? Um, I don't even know where to start. I guess in the like statue thing in the middle? Oh, oh boy. This is gonna be tricky. I can already tell. I'm already starting to struggle. I feel like I haven't done one of these in forever, even though I have been doing them. Not like super regularly, but you know, it's pretty normal for me to miss speed paints here and there. Is hmm my stream performance is not looking great. I think maybe I'll try turning my thing off again, because I know I was struggling with that last time. Oh boy. Oh, so I just noticed on Twitch my the Raid Pal integration thing is working, I guess. I haven't really tested that out before. But yeah, if anyone's seeing the Twitch chat, there's an event coming up next weekend. So, yay. The info is in the automated announcement. All right. Let's keep going on this. I feel like I should try to do something about this. I'm getting lag again. Oh boy. Ah, what am I doing? Let's I feel like this is tilted at the wrong angle. So the place where this angle changes is roughly halfway up the image. I feel like it's a little bit different on the two sides. It's maybe not quite symmetrical. I think this one is lower than that one. I'm gonna try to make it roughly halfway though. So it should be more like that. This is completely wrong too. So that would be about here. Yikes. Oh boy, what am I doing? But I think this is still too narrow. I really should not be spending too much time on this. I think it's very easy to get caught up in these kinds of details. And if I do that on during a speed paint, it's not gonna go so well for me. Is that okay? Does that look decent? Yeah. Ah! My thing's still kind of freaking out. You know what? I think I have to turn off my VTube Studio. Let's try putting on my PNG tuber form. I haven't used that in forever, so let's see if it works. The whole point of that was to use as a backup in case VTube Studio was freaking out, so I don't have it set up. I don't remember how to add it on OBS, unfortunately. Is it on here? I don't want to spend too long on this because it's you know, I have a timer going. So, you know what? Let's just not do that for now. We'll just go invisible. It's fine. I feel like this needs to go further out. Make that look a little bit thicker. Oh, I don't know. Hard to really say. I don't know what I'm doing here. Ah! This thing happening here. And then similarly over here. Stuff coming out. Sure, I guess that works. I probably won't bother too much with the stuff behind here and try to pay more attention to the ones that are in here instead. These central ones are just way more visible. I don't think that's an arch up there. I think that's just the moon visible from behind. Okay, no, this actually needs to be moved over to here more, I think, maybe? No, this is pretty close. It's probably good enough. I might need to make this a little bit thicker, though. I'm not sure if the level of this is right either. I think it might be a little bit too low. But again, I probably shouldn't pay that close attention to the details because we don't have time for all that. Yeah, and this it doesn't quite line up with the base of this. Actually, the base I think should be a little bit narrower. I really feel like I'm spending too much time on the details on this one, and it's going to screw me over. I think I also don't have the perspective quite right because these are kind of angled inwards a little bit just because of the way we're looking at this. So I don't really have time to mess around with that though. Yeah, there's stuff back here that I probably won't mess with too much. There's a big old moon. Which definitely makes me feel like this stuff needs to be narrower to frame that moon more. Or is my moon too small? Maybe my moon is too small. It doesn't reach all the way to the top for sure. Okay, let's see. This goes up to, oh, is it maybe like to 2/3 of the way down? Or like, you know, one third of the way down? Yeah, about. So I think I actually have it pretty decently there. But we need to get these in closer. Like way closer. I feel like I'm spending way too much time on this sketch, and I'm not gonna have time for the colors, but I'll do what I can. I think I was just drawing the wrong thing. Like this is, yeah, there's multiple, there's too many layers of things going on here and too many straight lines. You all know how I deal with straight lines, by which I mean not well. Okay, so this thing's head cuts off like around there. Sort of like that. I think that's probably good enough to go for the, whatchamacallit, the colors. Let's start on colors. Okay, this whole thing is mostly blue. Trying to figure out how to do the layers on this one. I feel like we can do most of these layers, or most of this stuff on one layer. I think the statue and the, the pedestal that it's on can be a separate layer, but everything else can maybe, no, I think this whole structure, this and this and this, can all be on one layer, and then the other stuff behind it probably. I think we can do that. Okay, let's start with some blues. That's not quite right. Yeah, it's still like too intense. I should probably go more gray than that. Maybe a little bit, although I'm gonna stick with that for now. We'll go with it. And then let's just put the moon in just with white and just blend it in so it's not too white. Like that. We'll come in with other colors too, eventually. Oops. Okay, we have that. Let's see. Let's just put in these sides just with a blue. Not that blue. I think this one needs to go way like purpley-y. Is that an okay way to start? Not really. I feel like I need to go like darker. Is that an okay place to put that? I think that's maybe okay for a start. Maybe let's just put in really rough colors. Like put in a little bit more of this sort of thing for this. These columns here. And stuff going on there. And in here. And then there's going to be this stuff in the foreground there, but that's okay. We can put that later. There's like whatever's going on over here. Yeah, I think this is a decent color combination for what we're doing here. That's good enough for now, I think. Yeah, I think that's good enough for now. And then we'll have a layer for this main stuff. The trees can maybe also go on a separate layer, and then the statue can go on its own layer. Okay, let's get this dark color back again. And do we want to start with that? I'm not sure. Maybe we want to start with a different color. Yeah, I think we want to start with something darker. I don't think that's the color I want, but we'll go with that for now. Just put it in a couple of places, just because. And just some of these darker areas. Maybe go with this one and some of the other places. Maybe. I don't know if I like that, but it'll do for now, perhaps. I don't think I quite like that, but I think we need to go more tealish. Oh, that's maybe too much. A little bit more cyan. Sort of like that. Yeah, let's go with that for now. Oops. We'll go with that, and then we'll add the shadows in a different color. I think we can do sort of the same thing for this one. And that'll definitely need some highlights later too. Let's go ahead and start adding some brighter tones. What color do we want here? Is that an okay color for that? I think that's pretty close. I do think it needs to go further in. So we should go over like here. And we do want it to like overlap the moon more. Yeah, that's pretty good. This isn't the color I want for there though. But we'll work on it. Okay. I'm not super fussed about what colors I'm putting in there for now. We'll iterate on it. Okay, looking pretty decent. I still think my placements are like off. Like here it's now too high. Like this bend should happen like here instead of up here, I think. I feel like we can still fix that at this point though. And actually it should also go more out. It should be like there. There we go. I think that helps. Yeah. And this angle I think is also too high. Just like carve that away a little bit. That doesn't look good either. I always struggle with these kinds of paintings where there's a lot of hard angles and geometric kind of shapes. They're very tough. We can make it work though, I think. I believe in myself. Yeah, this should be out there more. Okay, that's more or less working. I would like to get more depth and more like stone texture in a lot of these places, but that might take a couple more rounds. Okay, and here we actually don't want... Hello, Tokyo Skull. Welcome to the stream. think I am struggling a little bit on this one, but we'll make it through. I feel like this one's actually going to turn out pretty good. How are you today? I'm doing pretty good. I have so many plans in motion. It's actually kind of stressing me out a little bit, but it's pretty exciting. Hmm. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making this up as I go. That's cool. Thank you. I have a special stream happening next Saturday if you want to go check that out. I'm going to be first of all, I'm participating in an A-Spec Pride raid train. So that's going to be very cool. And I'm going to be watching watching the Story Rich Showcase, which is going to be about all kinds of story-driven indie games. And then if we have time after that, we'll be doing a tier list of the games I've previously streamed. So, very exciting event. That's so cool. I'm very excited for it. Why does everything look wrong? First of all, my thing, I think, is too far to the right. And second of all, it's not the right color. I don't think I'm going to try to move it just because that's way too much work. I do want to get a new color, though. I want to get something really dark. This is like my current... Well, this isn't the darkest color. Is it? I think that's the darkest color I have in here right now, which is not good because that's literally like halfway up. We need some darker stuff in here. I think we want it to be a little bit more on the teal-ish side, though. Let's go with the dense watercolor brush. Sure, why not? So yeah, get a little bit of that in there. A little bit of that in there too. In like this area in here. In here. Actually in... Okay, maybe I should use a different color for that. Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna use a different color for that. Let's start putting in some of this one as well. Let's get the other dark color first. Right, I think this is the one I was using. I'm not putting in the trees yet, even though it might help with the, whatchamacallit, just with the placement of the shadows and stuff, because obviously a lot of the shadows are just cast by that tree. But not right now. I want to save that for later. Maybe put a little bit of maybe this for the highlight. Maybe put a little bit of highlight in there too, whatever. I plan on doing environmental studies using Genshin's environmental design too. It's about time I learn about environmental art. How long have you been drawing for? Yeah, I really like using Genshin Impact art for these environment studies. They've been really fun. I think it just has really cool compositions and a really good use of color. If you mean how long I've been doing art, just like in general, drawing, a long time, like pretty much my entire life. But if you mean these environment studies specifically, I've been doing these for a couple years now, actually. This is number 78. So it's, yeah, I've done a lot of these. Oh boy. I still feel like I'm struggling though. For These shadows, I feel like I want to go more cyan-y. I feel like I keep going back and forth in this area. I don't know what the right place is really, but these shadows aren't like super duper dark, but it's darker than that for sure. Like that. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's blend that out a little bit. I think that's decent enough. I do want to come back here with more highlights, actually, but for the shadows, I think that will do. Let's see. Man, I feel like there's just so many details and so many faces to these shapes. Like there's all of these ridges and all of these like like trims around the columns and whatnot, and trying to put those in is such an absolute nightmare. So I'm really gonna get lost in them if I try to do that. Cat, please move. You're very cute, but I'm trying to do something right now. Yeah, so it's a struggle. I already forgot what I was trying to do next. This fluffy one is just distracting me. She is here to sabotage my attempts. I feel like I've kind of made a mess of this. Oh boy. What do I do? Let's maybe like try to blend some of these out a little bit. I think that might help. Like I like to go in, what's the word? Kind of do an iterative approach where I change things and then I blend them out and then I add details on top of that. Do you know about an event called Art Fight? I'm familiar, but I've never actually really participated in it. It sounds cool though. This part definitely needs some more highlights. Let's see. Let's go with one of these lighter ones, I think. Let's go with maybe an oil paint. That's too small. Oh right, I forgot this canvas is actually a lot bigger than I'm used to drawing on. I was wondering like why are my brushes so small, but it's actually just because this canvas is really big. The reference image I used today just happens to be bigger than my usual ones. Oops. That's why things are being a little bit weird. So you see, what I'm trying to do here is, yeah, I think my thing is like way off. So this corner should be like here, and I have it like there. So the annoying thing with these is a lot of the time I feel like I just don't have time to fix stuff like that because it takes so much time to redraw an area essentially from scratch. But I'm going to try. Fortunately, I haven't really put a lot of detail into this part yet, so it's okay. Just widen that out some more. And like this part is still pretty light, so I don't want to go too dark with stuff. Oh boy. And I can't do straight lines either. Straight lines, my eternal nemesis. Let's try to get a really thin, dark line in here. Can we do that? Looks good so far, thank you. These speed paints are very much a trust the process sort of thing, and I'm using the wrong color. I wanted to use the dark color for that. Because I have so little time, I have to draw things as rough as I can, basically. So they usually start out being really wonky looking and then get better as they go. So I just kind of have to hope that I can bring it together in the end, pretty much. Okay, see, that rendering is starting to come together. This thing is like too, whatchamacallit, too wide. I need to narrow that down a little bit. Go like that. I feel like I've spent so much more time on this side than that side, so we'll have to come back for that side, but it'll happen. It will happen. I think I actually want to go a little bit more like saturated with this. Ah, I am trying to narrow that down a little bit too. Slim down this edge. Yeah, can I just go like a little bit darker with that? I would love to get some of the color variation of those rocks or of the stones in there. But again, I often don't have enough time to go into that kind of detail. So we'll see. Let's get a little bit of that in here too. A little bit more color variation on this edge here. Ah! Straight lines. My nemesis. I think this bottom part is like too cyan right now. We need to like go more blue with it. Okay, I think that's working. Let's go back in with more of the darker color. Hi, cat. I think I might come back later with these like stripy things, because they do look pretty cool. How are we on time? We're about halfway on time. That's actually pretty decent. I think this is maybe more than halfway done. We're okay. Let's see. Try to get this stuff in here. These statues at the front, I'm saving for later. If I have time towards the end, I'll add those, but I don't think they're super important. What else? What else? I wanted to fix this up. Give that some more highlight. That good enough? I feel like that actually should be even brighter. I don't know. Let's maybe go in with one of the darker colors and maybe go with a thicker brush. And should I really go in with this kind of detail at this point? Probably not. Oops. Ah. I don't know. I think that's enough for the right side for now. Let's do the left side before we start running out of time. I have too many similar looking blues in here. I have completely forgotten which one is which. Uh-oh. That's always a great sign. I think this is too teal for what I want right now. Also, I think this edge is like too bright. Thanks for the company. I got to continue for studying for exam season. I hope you learned a lot from this new study. Thank you so much, and thanks for dropping by. Good luck with your exams. So there's also these like, I guess the trim on the edge of this and also these swirlies over here are made of like a golden-ish color, but obviously since they're in such a blue light, they don't really look gold. I think they're mostly just very gray. I do want to put them in eventually, but they are going to be a little bit tricky because of that color relativity kind of stuff. Which is always hard, but it is fun. Let's just get more of some darker colors in here. Let's blend that out too. Why not? Let's get some lighter colors in there. Oops. Ah! Maybe we want even lighter. Do you want to try to go in with this one at all? I think so, yeah. Hey, Top Hat! Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we're at 40 minutes out of my allotted hour, and I think this is the time when we need to start worrying about time. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. But yeah, I think my speed paint is turning out well, but I am starting to run low on time. So I think I need to pick up the pace. It does look good so far. I like how it looks so far. But there's still a lot of detail missing, especially over here. Let's do something with this like real quick. It's not a really important part, so I don't want to waste too long on it, but on the other hand, I do want it to exist. Let's get the thick brush for really getting in these bits. And when I'm like trying to draw so roughly, it's really hard to deal with these very geometric looking things. But, you know, I do what I can. Let's actually switch back to that. Get some darker colors in there. Get that darker, and then get the lighter colors in there too. Get a thick brush and go for just the edge with the light color. Yeah? Looks decent? Okay, I think that's probably as good as we're gonna get for this bit. Let's leave that there. And we have 20 minutes left. I'm gonna go in with the statue, because that's, you know, the central piece of this whole thing. So the main things we have left to do right now are the statue, obviously. Then there's more stuff in the background here that we need to add, and then these trees. Those are the main things that I am most worried about. If we have time apart from that, then we can go back and fill in details like these backgrounds here and maybe more texture in this stone and all that good stuff. But statue first. Okay. Let's maybe just start with this blue color for the darkest bits. Is that too dark? Maybe a little bit. Whoops. Let's get one of our other colors in here. Okay, that's good enough for that. Up here, we're gonna need way lighter colors. Then the pedestal is a bigger issue because then that starts to get into these greens and stuff. And we need to make sure we have like a decent transition there. Let's see. How do we do this? Well, these are pretty much... Oops. Let's go with our thick brush, actually. Yeah, that's a decent enough color for that. I'm actually just going to fill in this whole part with that, which isn't accurate, but we'll come back and fix things. And then over here, we definitely need greens. But the greens will probably be towards the blue because, you know, there's lots of blue here. That's actually not too bad. That's maybe a little bit too green. Let's go with that. Yeah, that's good enough. Let's just go with that for now and fiddle with it as we go. Cool. That bottom is definitely way too bright. Let's just take in one of our other colors and kind of blend it in. Whatever, close enough. We'll take our light color here and do the centerpiece. Actually, maybe not with the super thick brush. This is a pretty bright spot. Okay, maybe we should go back to the thick brush now. It's probably not quite the right color for this, but whatever. Okay, good enough, I think. All right, cool. Let's go do the rest of this statue. Where do we start? Maybe with this color? No. I'll go more like this. Whoops. Yeah. That's good enough, I think. Maybe. I completely do not remember which blue is which down here. Let's go with a thicker brush there. Whoops. I can't even quite tell what's what in here, but I'm not really going for details, obviously. We're just kind of um, trying to imply the shapes of things more so. Is that good enough for the statue? I think that will have to do. Let's go back and I don't really know what to do now. We have about 15 minutes. I would probably like to put some more stuff in the background. First, let's get a little bit, just a little bit more color depth back here. Yeah, just some stuff. Give it some more color. And then let's just take this layer and put some other. Whoops. Is that too dark? That might be too dark. Oops. I think it'll do though. Ideally, I would actually kind of like to, what's it? To put some brighter colors around the edge there. I can't quite tell how these fade out. Let's maybe just take like a softer brush. It's not quite the right color that I want for that. Oops. What am I doing? Why is that? Okay, yeah, it's blending weirdly. Okay, let's try to, oops. What am I doing? Get a little bit of like, yeah, let's put some of that in there. Okay, cool. There's that. Looking pretty decent. I think the main thing we're missing now are the trees. Do we want to just put the trees on a separate layer or something? Sure, why not? Let's just put all the trees on their own layer. Mostly 3 trees to really worry about. So what color do we make those trees? There's super, super dark. Speaking of super dark, I think these parts didn't end up dark enough. What happened here? What did I do? Why is there... Whoops. Wrong layer. I think I accidentally messed up a line somewhere. Okay. Trees. Is that a little bit too much? I think that's okay for the darkest part of it, but otherwise maybe too much. Yeah, I think maybe these are all too much. And you know what? I'm gonna go with the dense watercolor brush actually. Just so that they're not too harsh. Okay, and then, I don't know, like this maybe? I feel like this is not placed correctly. You know what? I don't often do this, but let's just move this down. There we go. I think that's better. So something like that. And then let's go a little bit bigger for this one. Okay, we have that. Let's try to get some highlights on some of these. Kind of like that. And let's maybe get back, what was the dark color? Was it this one? No, it was this. Okay, that's pretty decent for those trees, I think. Let's put the one on the statue as well, and then we'll have a little bit of time to put in the, whatchamacallit, the leaves. Okay, there we go. That's good for the trees. I feel like the leaves should go on a layer below the branches because you can see the branches over them. Oh, this is going to be tough because these are so bright. Um, let's start with, let's go with this brush, and that's like still not bright enough. That's a pretty bright color, but we need to go like all the way, like neon. Okay, that's good for like the brightest parts of it. Then let's get something slightly less neon. I think we're just going to need to kind of work our way down. Kind of like that. And then gradually kind of, you know what, maybe something like this. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I feel like my trees are kind of, you know what, can I just take both of these layers and move them down? Well, okay, maybe not the statue one. Okay, let's do that, and then let's move the statue one back up. Oops, did not mean to move that one. Oops. Okay. Now, trees. What are we doing with the trees? Uh, duh, 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 duh. Basically just make this a little bit bigger. I feel like this is actually turning out really nice. These trees are looking pretty great. Let's get this color in there too. Is that a little bit too much, maybe? Maybe it's a little bit too much. I think it looks good though. Okay, cool. Let's get a little bit of that in other places too. While we're here. Sure, let's like put them in here. Maybe some of the other colors. Okay, what else are we missing? We don't really have that gold trim, but I don't know if that's super important. We only have a couple minutes. There is a lot more detail in the background that we could have done. Should we try to put any of that? Oops. Let's get some thicker brushes, I guess. Let's just clean up some of the edges on these things a little. And let's get some of this dark stuff in here too. Yeah, just get a little bit of that. Let's maybe take a quick look at our values. Yeah, there's a lot of places that are just not dark enough. The trees are actually decently dark, maybe even too dark. But most of the other shadows just need to be darker. There's also like in here, I'm missing a lot of detail. Let me see if I can try to put in any of that. Oops, wrong layer. What am I doing? Why is that looking so bad? I feel like this is just the wrong color. I need like a more saturated shadow color for that. Oh, am I in the right layer? Yeah, I am. I think it's just this thick oil paintbrush is very thick, which is, of course, its purpose. Ah. Let's actually get something slightly less thick for this. And with, I don't know, this color maybe for some of this, and maybe go with the dense for a little bit of highlight in there. There's these statues on the side here. Maybe let's try to put them in real quick. can't even quite tell what these are supposed to be. I think they're like little lions or something. Okay, well, there's statues now, I guess. And there's like platforms here. And here, I don't know. Just kind of putting in some last minute stuff. I guess we're technically at time. So maybe we should call it there. All right. I think it looks pretty good. I definitely needed to get some of the shadows darker. And by some, I mean pretty much all of them. Honestly, for a bit, I was worried it was going to be a very nice skull situation again at the 20-minute left mark, but that's really good. Thank you. Yeah, I think I didn't fall into the trap of spending too long on one specific thing. I did a pretty good job of spreading out my time this time. But I think these are always like super difficult and super, what's it? Detailed. So I never really have enough time to get all the details in. That's just the nature of the speed paint. Yeah. Cool. It does look quite nice, I think. For some reason, I feel like my statue is not jumping out as much as it should be. Like, it's really the main focal point of this, but I feel like mine is kind of blending into the background a little bit. I'm not sure why. I don't know. Like, it's not that it's really too similar in color to the background. I think this one has a little bit more of a shadow edge around the outside, so I wonder if maybe if I did that to mine, like along the edge here, that would help. I'm not sure. I don't know. I do think that that helps somewhat. But let's clean up this side a little bit too. Maybe that helps. I feel like the top is also weird. The details don't really resolve right. I don't know. But here we are. I think that's it. All right, thanks for coming. Yeah, looks pretty good. As for upcoming schedule, I do have an exciting special stream happening next Saturday. So we're going to be doing the A-Spec Pride Raid Train, which means that I'm going to be streaming the, Story Rich Showcase. And then at 2 p.m. EST, I'm going to be rated by the previous person, and then we'll do our thing. And then after 2 hours at 4 p.m. EST, I have to raid out into the next person. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. We'll be watching the showcase, and then I doubt that's gonna last for like 3 full hours. So yeah, if that finishes and we still have time, we'll be doing a bit of a tier list. So in the meantime, during the week, we also still have the game streams for I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. Yeah, I'll hope to see you at some of those fun events. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys around. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.